Hi everybody. It is time for a video, and this one's about greatest common factoring. Format's a little different. I don't have my usual typed up notes, but it's all right. So being able to find the greatest common factor, actually gotta remember keep saying greatest because we always want the biggest number because it saves us time, and I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. Is going to make all this factoring section a lot easier. Just trust me. It'll take our numbers from really big to quite small, and that's a good thing. Less likely to make mistakes. Two things you have to remember before we get started. First of all, is you have to be able to do prime factorization. Or as I often call it in class, like tree it out. So if I give you a number like 24, you need to be able to break it up into factors. And you keep breaking it into factors until all the factors are prime. Ergo, prime factorization. So we start with any two numbers that multiply together to give you 24. So I'm going to use 2 and 12. And I'll show you what happens if you don't pick the same numbers I do. Now 2, oops, I did it again. Should probably talk about prime numbers first. So prime numbers are any numbers which have only two factors, 1 and themselves. And by definition, 1 is not considered to be a prime number. Take some university level courses in mathematics, and I'll probably explain why that matters. But for us, all you need to know is 1 is not a prime number. So the next prime number is 2. We've gone through this before, so I'm just going to list them. 3, no, 4 is not prime. 5 is prime. 6, nope, because that's 2 times 3 and 1 times 6. That's not it. 7, not 9, not 10. 11 is prime. 13 is prime. 14, 15, 17 is prime. 19. That's probably enough. Well, picture. I think you guys can see that. So there's more, but usually by the time it gets that big, you'll have found your factors. Okay, so 2 is prime. So 2 comes down because it can be part of my answer, because my answer needs to be a row of prime numbers. Now, what times what is 12? I'm going to use 3 times 4. There's other choices, but that seems good enough. So 2 comes down. It's still prime. 3 is also prime, so it comes straight down. And 4, we can break that down. It's called a composite number, which I only learned a couple of years ago. All I knew was prime, not prime. Well, actually, it's prime and composite. And now you can sound all methy. And 2 factors of 4, 2 and 2. And now everything we have in our list is prime. Don't, when you're doing prime factorization, put 1s in there. Like, don't go, hey, 2 is 2 times 1. No, don't do that. That just makes everything messy. And we said we just have to go down to primes. So, ta-da. If you want to be fancy, and this will help when we do the greatest common factor, if you put them in order. And oh, by the way, this is all multiplication. And when this is done right, every single layer should always be 24. So 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times 3 is 6. Times 4 is 24. 2 times 3 is 6. Times 2 is 12. Times 2 is 24. And same thing with the row down there. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2 is 8. Times 3 is 24. So there's lots of ways. But this is the holy potato. This is the golden nugget we're looking for, is that line of numbers. Now, let's say somebody else does this question and they remember that 24 is 6 times 4. Okay, neither of those are prime, so they should both be able to break down. 6 is 3 times 2, and 4 is 2 times 2. And now everything is prime, all from the list. We're done. So if I put it in order, I can honestly say, I don't care if you put the little timeses in there. It doesn't matter to me at all. We should put something. You put dots, you can put multiplication. You could also do times, oopsies, 2 times 2 times 3. Something, because so that it doesn't look like 2,223. But getting back on topic, see, whether I start with 2 and 12 or 6 and 4, my final answer is always going to be the same. You can even, for fun, you could do it for 8 and 3 is also equal to 24. Okay, anyway, no matter how you do it, your bottom line is going to end up with the same numbers. Moment. I'm doing this, it's February, it's really cold. I have to move my heater. I'm at class and I have one heater in front of me and one heater behind me. So it's actually quite cozy. I just had to move one. Okay, so I want you to do that again. I'm just looking at the worksheet here. How about you try 40 and 56. So stop the video, please. Try it out. Give it a shot. All right, I'm going to trust that you stop the video, or you're extraordinarily fast and you're already done. So that's 4 times 10. 4 is 2 times 2. 10 is 2 times 5. And that's all prime. And we're done. It's even in order, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm having brain fart. Oh, I wonder if that got picked up. Oopsies. Okay. This morning, I don't know what times what is 56. So I'm going to cheat. I know 56 is divisible by 2 because it's an even number. So, oh, okay, 2 and 28. 2 is prime. That's 4 times 7. So I'm going to get 2 and 2 and 2 and 7. So no matter what numbers you used, you're going to end up with the same thing there. If you're having a brain fart and you don't know how to get started, first thing I'll always look to see if it's an even number. So if it ends, we talked about this one day, in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, you can always divide it by 2. If that wouldn't work, well, let's pick another number. Let's do 45. Oh, that one's too easy. You guys already can tell me what the factors are, or at least one of them. All right, because the other rule is if it ends in a 5 or a 0, is divisible by 5. 5 and 9, 5, 3, and 3. Where I was going is if you have a number and you have no idea where to start, go back to your list of prime numbers and just start dividing by that. So if I had 169, sorry, I'll bring that up so you can see. I have no idea. So I'll just show you what I do. 169 divided by 2. The moment I get, okay, so I got 84.5. That's not a factor, so 2 doesn't go. 169 divided by 3. No, move that over there. Whoops, nope, can't see it better there. All right, 169. I'm not going to divide by 5 because I already know it doesn't end in a 5 or a 0, so that's not it. Divide by 7. Yep, I don't care what the answer is. It's not a whole number. 169 divide by, next prime is 11. No. 169 divided by, next one is 13. Woohoo! Did that work? Try that again. 169, whoopsies. 169 divided by 13. Oh, now I made a mess. 169 divided by 13 is 13. So there is no excuse to say, I can't do it. I don't know where to start. You just go through your, oopsies, you go through the list of primes. And probably by the time you get to 19 or so, you've hit it, or it's like, maybe this is a prime number itself. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to know. I sense there's going to be more than one video in this section. Second thing you need to remember, and this part's easy. So various common factors for page 2 is a x to the 7th. Okay, I know you can do it. I want you to tell me what that stands for. I hope. Don't know why I put 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, this part is the base, and this part is the exponent. Don't be lazy. So the base tells you what to write. The 7 tells you how many times to write it, and exponents are always associated with math. All right. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I don't think it's worth doing a whole bunch of those. Let's just get to the question. So this is the worksheet I'm going to be working off of. I'm not doing every single question. Excuse me. It's on Brightspace. Excuse me. And there's not enough space, except for those of you who have exceptional time writing to do it on here. So I'm going to do it on worksheets. Once you get good at this, you can actually do it on a worksheet like that. So not to brag, but I could right now. But to teach it and explain it properly, I need lots of space. So this is number 1 from that worksheet that says practice common factoring. It's 4R7 plus 24R4. All right, so when we're learning, first thing we do is we tree out our numbers. So 4 is 2 times 2. It also ends up being a lot of really good practice. 24 is 6 times 4, which is 3 times 2 times 2 times 2. I'm going to rearrange this in order. It'll just make our life easier. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to take this one. We're going to write its factors. 2 times 2. And then how many R's do we need? We need 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oopsies. 7. Okay. And right underneath it, we're writing the next part. I'm not going to worry about signs right now. We'll deal with that at the end. So we're going to put 24 R5, and I'm going to get, so my 24 is over here. So 2 and 2 and 2 and 3. For those of you that were worried because I didn't put a bracket around the first 2, you don't have to. And I think after this question, I'm going to stop with the brackets because it's getting messy. But I can't forget my R's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've done full prime factorization. So not only the numbers, but we've written out the R's. Now we have to look for what's common. I like highlighters. So there's a 2 that's common. There's another 2 that's common. Now, see on the 24, this is 2 and 3, they're not common, so we don't talk about them. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 R's that are common. And there's no profound reason I didn't cancel like this way, other than I thought it looked prettier, made more sense. Don't stress over it. So our greatest common factor is everything I just highlighted. So it's 2 times 2. So you got 2 2s and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 R's, which, let's clean that up. 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the 5th. So that is our greatest common factor. We're not done. I guess I should have entitled as greatest common factoring so that you finish the question. So now, after all of that work, we're going to go back to our original question. In retrospect, maybe I should have done this to the side and then I could have worked down, but oh well. And we take this and we are going to divide. We are going to divide both of them by our greatest common factor. So then what we get, so 4 divided by 4. I'm going to put 1, you don't need to, but I'm going to put it there just sort of as a placeholder so remember what's going on. R to the 7 divided by R to the 5th. Remember, for division, you need to subtract your exponents. R2 plus 24 divided by 4 is 6, and then the R's disappear. And our greatest, so we put the leftovers, that's what I call them. Once we do our division, put the leftovers there, and our greatest common factor goes out front. There are multiple ways to check this. Easy, lazy way. Whatever's the brackets, sorry, whatever's in the brackets here is basically the stuff up here we didn't highlight. So if we look where the first term, so the 4R7, there's an R and another R at the back. There's our R squared. And if we look at the 24R5, we've got the 2 times 3 here. That's the only thing we didn't highlight. And there's our 6. So the leftovers from here become the leftovers in my bracket. It's not a technical term, but I like it. So that's one way you can check. That's the real fast way. You can, if I ask you to check, or if it's an important question, you can also always just distribute back, just multiply. Because that's the point of factoring, is you need to be able to multiply back to get that original answer. So 4 times 1 is 4. R5 times R2, when you multiply, you add your exponents. That's going to give me R7. 4 times 6 is plus 24. Sorry, 4 times positive 6, 24. And we bring the R5 along. And ta-da. So this was our answer. And this was the check. These are not fast questions to do. At least not yet. Because maybe, just maybe, there's some of you that looked at and go, yeah, actually 4 divides into both of those. And you knew right away what the number was up front. So I'm hoping after I do a few, you're going to be able to, I guess you really can't explain it to me, but you'll be able to figure out the shortcuts. But for now, the cool thing about this is it works every single time, guaranteed. Again, time consuming, but first you get good, then you get fast. All right, we're gonna try another one. Let's see if I can make it look prettier. All right. There we go. So this is number 2, which is 8K3 plus 20. So I'm going to try let's make everything look prettier. So 8, if I tree that out, that's 4 and 2, 2 and 2 and 2. I would suspect you're comfortable and familiar and have probably got that part memorized. Factors of 8, prime factors. 20 is 4 times 5, which gives me 2 and 2, and the 5 is already prime. All right, so I'm going to work over here. So that's going to give me 2 times 2 times 2. I didn't rearrange that because it was already in ascending letters. Letters. The numbers are getting bigger. And then I need 3 Ks. And like I said, I know in my notes, I did dots in between, which I guess is better than brackets. And it is another way to show multiplication, but it's clear what we're doing. We're doing prime factorization. I'm just going to skip it. Shh. Don't tell the boss. And then 20 goes at the bottom, and that's 2 times 2 times 5. All right. Get your happy highlighter. You want to find the common factor. Factors, almost always plural. So there's a 2 that's common. There's another 2 that's common. And that's it. That's okay. That's okay. So greatest common factor is 2 times 2 is 4. You don't even necessarily have to do that. You can just go straight to 4 because I know you're all clever enough to just do that. But showing all the steps, first you get good, then you get fast. So that means this is what I'm going to divide these 4. So I'm going to divide out 4 from both of these. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. And there aren't any Ks back here. So there's no Ks that are common factors. Or I should just say I'm just dividing by 4 and the K is just going to come along. K3. 20 divided by 4 is 5. And then the 4 goes out front. So there's my final answer. Now I'm going to cheat. And I'm going to check that this first term here is my leftovers. So there's a 2, and there's my K3, and there's my 5. Woohoo! I'm actually kind of excited. Sorry, as I said that, I'm such a nerd. I'm just pleased with the way I've set it up. It looks a little neater than the other one did, and I didn't have to recopy quite so much. Okie dokie. Oh, I should point out, go back to the first page. This one had a number and a variable that were common. This one just had a number. That's okay. Sometimes it's a number, sometimes it's a variable, sometimes it's both. Oh, and sometimes it's nothing. C'est la vie. You know what? Now that I think of it, let's do one like, oh, now I'll give you the answer. All right, 7 plus 9b. Sorry, that's number 5. If you're following along in the worksheet, 9b to the 4th. All right. I kind of already know what the answer is, and you're looking at it going, there is nothing common to those, but let's prove it. So 7, it's already prime, so you can't really break it down, but I'm going to write that. So later on, I know why I didn't do anything to it. And then we got 9, which is 3 and 3. That was pretty easy. So what I do next? I did that. Now I took them and I wrote them. So I'm going to put 7. Right, it already looks silly, but that's okay. And then we got 9b to the 4th is equal to 3 times 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 b's. Dun, dun, dun. And if we look, sorry, I could see. Oh, did I mention it's minus 40 out today? There's nothing common. So there is no greatest common factor. There is no common factor at all. So no greatest common factor. Please don't just leave them blank. Right? Don't leave it blank. Give me something that I can mark that I'm like, yes, they understand this. Right? To have a greatest common factor, I'd have to have something in this line and something in that one too. All right. Ooh. Where's a fun one? No, I don't want to do that one. Oh, this one looks good. I'm skipping all over the place on the question on the worksheet. So number 21. It caught my eye. Oh, goodness. It's a little more weird than I thought. But that's okay. It caught my eye because I had the negative out front. I'm going to obviously after this skip back. We're not quite ready for this, but we're going to do it. 50 x5. Yep. Okay. So don't let the negatives scare you. It's okay. Because I have a rule, which the worksheets don't always follow. I never, ever, 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 ever take out a negative factor. There's nothing that we do that would force you to do that. There is one type of factoring that I don't even do anymore, that you had to do that. It's gone. I will not burden you with it, but it's gone. There's a different way, so you never have to do it. But occasionally the worksheets do. Don't stress. Oh, excuse me. All right, 15. And I'm ignoring the negative. I'm not going to try and factor out, prime factorize. I'm not sure that's a word. Minus 15. Just 15 and 50. All right. You know what? Pause the video. Got it done? I bet you do. All right, so 3 and 5. I don't know. 20. Whoopsies. 25 and 2. I made that way too big. So 25 is 5 times. No. Sorry. Let me start over. That looked awful. 50. 5 and 2. And 5 and 5 and 2. And I'm going to flip that around. 2 and 5 and 5. Best practice. It's one of those things you don't have to, but you're going to miss common factors if you don't put stuff in order. Oh, I'm going to show you a trick. And again, I'm going to ignore that negative 15 because I don't want to deal with it. So 15y3. Trying to, yeah, I'm just going to ignore the sign. I don't want to deal with it. Is equal to 3 times 5. So there's my 15, and then y and a y and a y. And then 50 x5 is going to give me 2 times 5 times 5. And then 5x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okie dokie. So take a look. What should I highlight? Oh, we'll be yelling at the screen going, it's the 5, Joanne. Yes. Yes, yes. There is my greatest common factor. That was an awful lot of work for all 5. Notice, because these are X's and Y's, it is what it is, just leave them alone. So I'm going over here, and divide this by 5, divide this by 5. Now I do have to pay attention to the negative there. So a negative divided by a positive is going to give me minus 15 divided by 5, that's 3. And then y3 plus 50 divided by 5 is 10. And x5. And then don't forget, because that's what everybody does, they lose the 5 up front. Yeah, let's see if we got it. Yeah, I'm second guessing. I should have brought my negative. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm going to bring my negative. I'm going to put them there because then it fits my rule. Because I'm going to have a negative 3 and some y's. Check. And I got 2 times 5, which is 10, and some x's. So it's completely perfect. You're always learning, always coming up with the best idea. All right. I think this video is probably long enough, so it's time to take a break. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.